Thank you so much, everyone. I formally welcome you to this closed door roundtable. The idea of having a closed door roundtable was to, discuss certain topics, certain issues in more detail, which sometimes get lost, in the bigger events or the bigger sessions. Where we are not able to go down to each individual speaker and know more about their challenges. So before I start, on the discussion around learning to mitigate the cloud security and data privacy challenges, let me just take a minute or two to set the context. We all know that the ongoing pandemic has accelerated most of the business processes to go digital. And with this digitization, there has been massive data proliferation, and this growth of data means that there is even more sensitive data for organizations to protect. Most importantly, with the surge in the distributed workforce, the adoption of multi-cloud services continues to expand. And the rapid pace of innovation in cloud infrastructure will result in 40% enterprise workloads being deployed in the cloud infrastructure and platform services by 2023. Now, what this accelerated cloud adoption, especially over the last 1.5 year, means is this growing cloud footprint. And this makes it challenging for business and technology leaders to grapple with safeguarding their data across the cloud. Now, while cloud lends scalability and automation, it's also a minefield that will continue to lead to security flaws and massive data breaches. The industry has witnessed a significant increase in phishing activity and preying on widespread fear after the pandemic hit. And shifting to the cloud brings new attack surfaces, making it even more vulnerable to cyber intrusion, where sensitive personal and professional information holds significant value to the fraudsters. And in the post-COVID phase, there will be more attempts at penetrating the cloud infrastructures. Now, if you look at the workloads, increasingly business critical workloads and applications are moving to the cloud. And the topmost concern for IT and security leaders is how do they protect their data against breaches in the cloud? So while security in the cloud is critical for all businesses, for all industries, I think especially when it comes to the financial services industry, it gains all the more significance because of the kind of data that is there with the companies, and also because a lot is associated with the regulatory environment and the compliance requirements that the industry is supposed to adhere to. Now, adding to the complexity when it comes to cloud security is the growing proliferation of hybrid and multi-cloud, and this is what is going to be the future. And as businesses host more and more critical workloads across multiple cloud platforms, the need for robust security is going to be more pressing than ever. So enterprises need solutions which are capable of offering cloud consumers strong controls over encryption, key life cycles for data encrypted by cloud services. And a growing number of organizations are aware of the shared responsibility model for cloud security with its definitive statement across all cloud consumption models. So in today's session, we will be discussing protection measures for safeguarding sensitive data in the cloud and how encryption is the right way to go about it to help prevent data breaches in the cloud. And we will specifically look into how bring your own key kind of services and customer controlled cloud key management can strengthen data protection in the cloud. So with that, I actually want to get the discussion rolling, and I want to thank all of you, and let me introduce the panelists one by one. Thank you for joining us, Mohammed Imran, Group Head, Information Security, L&T Financial Services, Jyotir Latha B, Chief Technology Officer, Godrej Housing Finance, and Naseem Haldar, CISO, ACO General Insurance. I also have with me Ved Prakash, Senior Business Development Manager, Banking for Thales in India. And as a Senior Business Development Leader, he is responsible for growing the data protection business in the India and SAARC region. I want to start with a very general question. If you can just briefly, give your view on that. We'd like to understand what is the pace of cloud adoption within your organization. What kind of application workloads are you seeing moving to the cloud? For instance, you're seeing core business applications, etc., moving to the cloud. So maybe Imran, we can, if it's okay, we can start with you here.
So we at L&T Financial, we are the early adopter of cloud. So when it started in 2017, when we decided to move from our on-prem exchange mailing solution to G Suite. So the SaaS model we started with SaaS model, and then we adopted the infra as a service, where we moved our workloads to non-critical applications. First, we started with non-critical applications that we moved, and we were the first to deploy SAP HANA on GCP Cloud in 2018. And as if now, almost around 70% of workload we have moved on cloud, GCP Cloud, where my sourcing applications, my collection apps, and all these that are there. My core system, like my landing system, that is still on-prem. So that comes into under 30% of the critical application. Otherwise, we have moved 70% of the workload on cloud.
Okay, I mean that's significant. I mean, considering especially for financial services organizations, which actually started out being very skeptical about cloud, I think it's now become a business critical need. You know, they can't really escape it. So, Jyotirlatha, what is your opinion in your organization? Did you see a particular spurt in cloud adoption, especially in the last 1.5 years since the pandemic, or the focus on cloud has been there all along?
So, Godrej Housing Finance is actually a born in cloud architecture we are having, because we launched our business during last year pandemic. So our thought process, our design and conceptualization of all the entire architecture and all has been done in the cloud itself. So as such, there is no cloud adoption, but the cloud born attitude is there overall. But having said that, all my core applications and all those things, we had a lot of deliberation while setting up entire thing in the cloud, whether those core applications should be there on-prem, and only the third-party applications, the other applications should we put it in the cloud and all. But after a lot of R&D and research, and by taking some few calls and all, we've decided even the core application can be working fine in the cloud, provided you take some kind of security measures. So we have put the entire workload in cloud right now. Everyone is including our field staff, whoever is using the mobile apps and the core systems, which are actually a kind of record management type of systems. Everything is in cloud right now. So yes, the little bit discomfort is there in terms of the data breaches and all, but yes, we have taken the call and we are on cloud.
That's very interesting. I think one is, of course, born in the cloud company, but the fact that it started during the pandemic, I think that's going to be a very interesting story, and we will explore more on that from a security perspective as we get along in the discussion. Naseem, again, in your organization and an insurance company, of course, there are a lot of regulatory requirements of whether it comes to IRDAI, as well as other compliance issues. There must have been some hesitancy in moving to cloud. So how has that hesitancy changed over the years, especially in the last 1.5 years?
I think you guys already know, right? Echo is just 4 or 5 years old company. When Echo started, there are certain, ideology behind Echo that we'll only go digital, we'll not do anything on paper. It will be complete digital. Our architecture is again microservice architecture. What exactly that means, if we go to any e-commerce site, it's look like, for every service, if you want to add something on cart, if you want to have a catalog, everything is in microservice. So we are, we are just following like Jyotirlatha, that everything, for me, my office only having couple of router and switches and firewall to connect you to internet. That's all I have in my office. Everything in cloud. I have nothing, I have, on premises. So we are fully cloud. And in terms of security, I would say one thing, if you are hosted over, GCP or AWS, you just question yourself, will you be really that much, your security or your cyber security maturity will be that much, that much high compared to Google or compared to Amazon? the answer will be little difficult to showcase ourselves below to them. But that is the fact, right? We have this concept that if somebody is having that physical access of my server, they can access my data. It's not true. We have to come out. There are n number of new newest solution is available you can implement. It's look like that how exactly you are planning your architecture. If you planned your architecture in a complete cloud model where you have enough control is available, the speed, the scalability of security control implementation is too high in cloud, which you will never get in your own frame. If you want to change something, some new vulnerability will come, you have to struggle to find out the right solution for your own premises devices or servers. Whereas in cloud you will get a lot of out of the box services. You just need to be little more what I can say, little more curious about those things and be little more open on that. I think there will be n number of new things is available on cloud. Yes, there are certain perceptions there that cloud people can access data privacy of my customer will all these things, but these are already addressed, right? Earlier you can see this Google was outside, GCP is outside of India. Now they have their data center in Mumbai. AWS having their data center in Mumbai. Now they are also building their one data center in Hyderabad. So you will also get BCP in that in the same country. So a lot of things are already addressed. So there are opportunity. You can do it. So it's your call how exactly you want to go and how exactly you want to do it.
Absolutely. No, actually, when listening to all three of you, I think it's quite a refreshing change. I remember when I used to be moderating such roundtables and panel discussions just 3 to 4 years back. There was a lot of hesitancy in terms of cloud adoption being seen, especially from the banking and the financial services industry. And today, talking to you, I can see that hesitancy has gone and there is a positive direction, positive movement in terms of cloud adoption. So, Ved, I want to bring you in to the picture now. You heard about how these three companies have been going, accelerated the cloud journey, and especially two of them are actually born in cloud companies. So from their perspective and from an overall perspective, do you think that security is the number one concern for IT and security leaders, especially in the financial services? And what are the biggest challenges that organizations face when it comes to their cloud security?
Yeah, thanks, Shipra. Definitely one of the key questions that today I am addressing to most of the organization CISOs and the stakeholders who are bringing this up. And I'm quite pleased to hear from the eminent panelists in terms of the way they have seen cloud adoption happening, and absolutely in line with their thought process that this would be definitely increase a lot. And these situations like pandemic has even served as an accelerator in their cloud adoption process. But having known the benefits of cloud, I would just like to cite out a report which we published a year back, which was mentioning out that there has been worldwide almost 2 billion of sensitive records being exposed through the breaches in this kind of cloud security. And that shows that businesses somehow are not putting the adequate measures to protect the sensitive data in the cloud. And especially when organizations born out of cloud and spreading through multiple cloud, it becomes very important to have a uniform way to protect the data across the cloud provider, and also for the piece that remains on your premise. So a kind of technology intervention that addresses both on-premise as well as on cloud kind of scenario. And a key question that comes out here is that how do we enable, or how are we securing the PII data moving in cloud? So definitely our panelists brought this up, saying that there is a shared responsibility model by the cloud service provider that categorically states whether you go for infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as application as a service, the data security remains the prerogative of customer. It should not be an obligation of the cloud service provider. That means you have to ensure that adequate technology controls acting on the data to safeguard it. Now, cloud service provider offers native encryption techniques, key management service. But the issue is that you don't own the keys to the data. owner of these keys is the cloud provider. So in theory, cloud service provider can look into the encrypted data, which is not good and no organization would want. And that is where this control, like bring your own key, becomes very important, which gives you as a control to manage or have the ownership of these keys and helps you to segregate the duty, segregate the roles, as well as you can revoke the encryption keys if you are kind of finding it as per your internal policy to change and get into the ownership. If there is more sensitive data and you are using infrastructure as a service, I have seen organizations even bringing your own encryption technique right on the cloud rather than relying on the cloud service provider. And this brings me the 5 key functional problem, which I would sure like to hear if they have also found these problems relevant in their business line. Number 1, I talked about is encryption key visibility, that these cloud service providers provide you a limited visibility of key management and access by their users. The second one is the data loss risk because of insufficient authorization control or the DR services to ensure keys are not accidentally or intentionally deleted. Third situation is of vendor lock-in, which means that customers do not want to be logged into a specific cloud service provider vendor. So tomorrow you're moving from AWS to Azure, those kind of scenarios where you don't get into a lock-in situation becomes an important problem area. Third, definitely would be from compliance perspective. Each organization have their own internal security practices and privacy obligations, as well as the need to adhere to the regulatory mandates, whether it is SEBI, IRDA, or certain banking guidelines, or GDPR kind of regulations, or data privacy bill that might be coming up. All this requires that you have to have the ownership of the encryption techniques, or have to have an external key management system which manages across the encryption processes in the applications that are going there. And a very important and last functional problem that I want to bring this up is that all these native cloud service providers, key management services have a very limited ability to automate the life cycle of the keys, especially across multiple subscriptions. So key life cycle management becomes again a very, very important area to look at it. And how do you address this with the kind of a technology that you bring in? And this is where Thales as an organization comes in to offer a platform that addresses all this problem areas with the same solution. And I would be happy to discuss this offline with all the panelists, how we have really resolved certain concerns on these lines. And if these are sort of the areas, if Imran feels, Jyoti feels, or Naseem feels that, yes, it resonates with some of the functional problems that I spoke about, definitely, I think that would enlighten the audiences and participants more how they are tackling. Yes,
thanks, Vedya. In fact, we will actually be going deeper into some of the things you mentioned. Before that, I want to, ask a very important question. We all understand that cloud security is one of the topmost concerns, especially, in a multi-cloud environment. And, so what are those topmost cloud security concerns, and how different are they from those that were during the pre-COVID? And what protection measures are you adopting for safeguarding your sensitive data in the cloud? So Jyotirlatha, being let's say a cloud-born company, how are you approaching protection of your data in the cloud? And is it a multi-cloud environment? Does it make it further complex?
So it is multi-cloud environment. We have our production in AWS, and our DR is running in Azure. So for the very the known reason that AWS is having in one region only, and it is seismic wise, we have to take care of our DR also. So we have gone with Azure. So there is a replication between these two environments. So that way it is a kind of multi-cloud, but for a day, I don't think it is a kind of hybrid cloud environment. Only for the replication is multi-cloud. Having said that during COVID time, actually the security perimeter has been redefined. So everything is, is there. It is starting from the employee's home. So we have gone with our touch-free loan disbursements. So that means employee also need not be in the customer's place, and customer is also at home. So both can work together and can do the disbursement. So during this process, what happened? The important, very much important, the PII data and also the related to the other, the disbursement related to the internally classified data. Everything is there in different parts of the applications, because digitally some front ends are there, and there are some back ends which are core system which is processing, and all this kind of architecture actually made data available in multiple places. So at the same time, it is actually there is a big threat of the security, the data breach and all. So we are going ahead with kind of DevSecOps implementation, where I think Ved just spoke about the keys and also we have not gone with BYOK, but we are going towards a kind of key encryption in the cloud itself. But I completely agree with Ved, because the CSP is there, and with the CSP only you are keeping the keys and you are having the management only with them. So there is no control of the organization, though it is a kind of very semi-control, you can say, but it's not a fully controlled organization. But we are taking step-by-step process. So one step after the other we are taking. So now we're going ahead with this one, and then maybe BYOK or whatever, we do have that in the plan. But my biggest issue in this entire cloud security is the access control. So I really don't know the what kind of access controls are being given. And first of all, in the cloud, because though we are born in the cloud, there is a big issue with the skills. I don't know whether other panelists will agree with me or not, because everyone knows it seems to be like this part of cloud and that part of the cloud and all. But our overall integrated view of the complete, what is happening in cloud and what are the threats happening, and integrated view, and how this threat and use cases to SIEM tools and all, whether those are completely done or not. So this part is really a little bit, it's still, I think, a lot of work has to be done in terms of the tools, also in terms of the skill sets also. That keeps on bothering me, whether we have done it correctly. SIM implemented, and I have the DLP implemented, everything got implemented, but implemented for the right use cases, who will say? And if it is not there, if there is any gap, who will be able to point out? So these are the things I think currently are bothering me.
Absolutely agree with you that there's still a lot of gray areas and gaps that need to be plugged. Imran, from your perspective, what are your topmost cloud security concerns, especially since the accelerated adoption of cloud, and how are you addressing some of those concerns?
So like as Lata said, skills is a challenge, resource. So that is challenge across all security, be it a cloud security or a normal security, talking about on-prem security. When we adopted the cloud and all this, cloud is actually a shared responsibility. It's not like cloud provider or GCP or Azure, they have a hell lot of security controls. It's not like that. When you talk about SaaS model, yes, they have strong controls, which we cannot have on-prem. But when it comes to PaaS or infra as a service, it's a shared responsibility. And 70% of the security we have to manage, the customer has to manage. They will only manage your hypervisor, server, storage, or physical network. So the visibility is the challenge. Like Ved said, like the visibility about who is accessing my data. If there is no encryption or encryption keys is with the service provider, that is a challenge. And the end user accessing networks and the shadow IT kind of a thing, what application they are accessing, from where they are accessing, I don't have any visibility.
Great, thanks. Visibility, I completely agree, is one of the biggest challenges, especially when it comes to a multi-cloud environment. How do you ensure that you have complete visibility across not just multi-cloud, but I'm saying a hybrid environment? The future is going to be hybrid. So how do you have visibility across your entire digital estate, which includes cloud, which includes as well as your on-premises, your data center? So Naseem, taking out from that, we, like I mentioned, that the future of work will be hybrid with a mix of both on-premises and cloud infrastructure. And, further adding to the complexity is the world of partnerships and platform adoptions that we live in. So what risks does it pose to protecting and controlling your data across the whole hybrid infrastructure and across all the platforms, both in the cloud as well as on-premises, multi-clouds across platforms? So what are the biggest risks do you see in that?
Okay, so I will not discuss, cloud to on-premises, because to be very honest, we don't have that much of setup. We have cloud to cloud, basically multi-cloud setup. I completely agree with all the panelists that, that key is a challenge. Managing the key, it's the biggest challenge. But whatever Jyoti has, discussed, I think in Acko, we have addressed the same problem, might be 2 years ago. With installation of couple of cloud-based directory and contextual access. So how exactly these things are working? Basically, you are there is one more new concept is coming. People are talking about Jetty and all these things. You can able to identify each and every device. You are saying that if your device having this serial number, your device having this MAC ID, then you are authorized to access this server. That's all. Even in if you talk about AWS, GCP, you can make they will give you opportunity to create a master child of account. So what you need to do, you have to segregate your production line. Like, hey, I have this product, this will be this account. You have to define in that child for each and every account. So what you will do using that, after creating that segregation in that account, you can basically do a device-based access. So if somebody is coming from this OU or this OU with this serial number, he or she is able to access only this part of the account. So that is the best way we have done it to secure our segregation of duties and basically secure our internal threat. That is one thing. And in terms of key management, to be very honest, as per me, I really don't know any big out of the box solution. But what we have done a dam over there, so that we are getting all the data, whatever my application and application and pulling out in my database and in my prod DB, I can say, and that is 24/7 monitoring. That is what we are doing as on date. So that is giving me one more additional layer of confidence to my data in terms of my PI data. And I think in AWS they are also offering AES, the top level encryption, which is really good. But yes, if you consider about this risk of their own whatever shared responsibility we are talking about, believe me, that risk will be always available. You cannot mitigate this risk anyway. If you have 2 employees, 3 employees, they can do the same thing, right? And this is happening. If we really taking the data or the report, how many incidents happening on cloud, please do a ratio of that thing. How many incidents happening in on-prem? That is much bigger than compared to cloud. So I'm not saying that on-prem you cannot do. We can do. On-prem require a lot of resource. Whatever Imran and Jyoti said, even Betty said, I'm completely agree. It's very difficult to hire resource. Believe me, in India, if you want to have any bit, senior manager level resource, you have to wait for 2-3 months. And 2-3 months, it can happen anything to your data. It's very difficult to get a resource. Getting a good resource, whatever budget you have, I'm telling you, you have to have at least 30% premium on that. Then only you will be able to get. Even the biggest challenge, you close the offer, the person accepted the offer, just before 2 days ago, 3 days ago, you will got a message from your HR or recruitment team. Hey, he's saying I had a different offer. Somebody is offering me addition of 10%, 20%. Will you be able to match it? Then I will join. So that is the challenge for everyone, right? Everybody has a constraint of, in terms of budget, and resources is the biggest constraint.
I completely agree. I mean, resources and skill sets is one thing that all 3 of you have pointed out very rigorously. In fact, today only I posted on LinkedIn about a study which talks about the skill set shortage in the security domain, and how it is one of the biggest challenges for CISOs today. And especially when it comes to cloud security, there is also, one is to keep up with the changing threat landscape, keeping up with new technologies. And then it is about whether you train a cloud expert on security or you train a security expert on cloud? So that is again an ongoing debate. So with keeping some of these challenges, visibility, skill sets challenge, if we bring that all together, how can a unified and platform-based approach to data protection, both on premises and in the cloud infrastructure, help vis-a-vis a point solution? Because like Jyotirlatha also mentioned, like there are so many technologies, you end up implementing so many technologies that, how many consoles are you actually going to be managing at the end of the day? So can you give an example of how a platform-based approach can help here?
So, Shipra, I think a couple of issues what Naseem, even Jyoti and Imran has brought out are actually the, I would say, problem areas which all the leaders are looking in their cloud journey to address. Definitely, there is no one solution that fits all the business use cases at the moment. But I would definitely like to, or I will be more pleased to offer that Thales has recently come with a platform called Cypher Trust, which has been adopted. One of the banks have been the early adopters for this because, one of the largest private sector bank who are doing video eKYC on cloud or moved their complete CRM application on cloud. They were facing the same challenges and were evaluated those controls and then kind of had a compliance mandate from RBI also to ensure that no, these are customer sensitive information and we would come after you if these are not protected adequately. And that is where this technology got implemented into basically safeguard both through the security and the compliance perspective. So the key reason I discussed with them and came out to know was that historically all these organizations have implemented point-in-time encryption kind of solutions, which over the time had grown as the data repository have grown, and now it has become very cumbersome to manage on a silo basis. And it also creates that these respective point-in-time technologies safeguard a specific type of data or work in a specific type of environment. So it became complex, it became ineffective, and it became a burden over the time as this new threat landscape also started happening, like ransomware attacks or any data breaches that you hear in the news often today. So they wanted to have a platform-based solution which can scale up, and they don't need to reinvest into the security, but they can just plug and play into that as their use cases grow. And very important piece that they started was to identify or to have the data risk assessment process to begin with the same solution. What I mean by data risk assessment is know where your data, sensitive data is. It starts with your data discovery and classification from the same console. And once you know that respective risk scores of those kind of data, then you know what is the remediation that I need to do, whether this data needs to be tokenized, whether this needs to have an encryption technique, or whether you have to do the encryption key management, all from the same SIM console. Became a choice for their operations team, which found it to be managed from single point pane of glass, and it became quite easy rather than looking into the multiple kind of silo-based approaches that organizations have taken. And that is where I think the platform-based approach is gaining momentum in all the large organizations who are using the same solution for addressing this data at rest use cases for on-premise as well as for cloud. And today I have seen that there are 4 areas that primarily everybody wants to address, which starts with protecting your data at rest, data in motion, then definitely the data is moving in cloud. And how do you define role-based, policy-based access for all these techniques that you're using to safeguard the data on cloud. So the one solution which is able to do that, I think, yes, Thales brings that kind of a technology currently. And we are one of the global leaders in offering this platform, which defines the latest encryption techniques and key management process across the organization. So this is what I would like to share from the current experience of seeing banks immediately adopting this kind of scalable approach in the data protection journey on cloud.
Okay. So I want to bring in the aspect of data privacy here. Compliance is the foundation or the bedrock for the financial services industry, and regulations. Definitely, that is something that you have to ensure that you comply to all the regulatory requirements, even when your data is on the cloud. So I want to understand that, how do you see the cloud security landscape changing with the upcoming data protection bill? Do you see any implications of that? And what kind of measures are you taking to ensure data privacy and adherence to regulatory compliances when it comes to cloud? Jyotirlata, if we can start with you.
See, this upcoming bill, according to me, whether it is on-prem or cloud, is posing the same type of challenges. Your PII data has to be, protected, and you should be taking the consensus of the customer before using it, and you have to retain only for that small period and all. While I'm not seeing the biggest challenge in implementing that one just because of I am on cloud, but at the same time, what it might end up is we might end up spending more money in ensuring this compliance. So what is happening is currently a lot of tools and all maybe having may not be having within India processing of the data, some of the tools. So in that case, what we are doing, we are already working on that area. So we might have to have some kind of a different solutioning so that that PII data does not go for the processing outside India. So this bill actually posing that kind of challenges. According to me, this is not specific to any kind of cloud or on-prem. It is uniform across.
Imran, in your opinion, how much of a challenge is governance and compliance on cloud, and how are you working towards ensuring all the compliance requirements that are there for you?
Like we are seeing that this will be similar to GDPR or more, stringent than GDPR. So like right to forget, which GDPR says, right? Customer can anytime revoke this consent which he has given, to use their data. So that will be a challenge, and I don't know how we want to address that. Then, as Lata said, that data localization. So India's data should stay in India, should not move out from India. So those things, I think that those things will be addressed with the service provider, cloud service provider, because they are coming up with the data centers in India. Like GCP's had three data centers here in India, same AWS and Azure. So I think that will be addressed.
And Naseem, from your end, from the insurance perspective, what kind of regulatory compliance requirements are there? Any challenges to ensuring governance and compliance meeting those requirements on the cloud? I mean, are there specific measures that you're taking to ensure compliance?
Yes, there are. But in terms of privacy, whatever Lata and Imran said, that is correct. Actually, there are certain cases where you're passing some claims for any individual, right? And at the same time, regulator is saying that you have to keep this data for 7 years. And at the same time, that individual came to you and say, hey, you should delete my data. So that will be one of the challenge. How I really don't know today I really don't have any answer for it, how exactly we are going to address this problem. That is one thing. Data localization and all this thing Imran rightly said, all these people also got to know the requirement of government and how exactly Indian government is moving towards for all this data localization and all these issues. So they are already start bringing their data center inside India. So that going to be addressed very soon. But there are certain technical solution. If you have a I think billions of data of customer, right? If somebody asking you, hey, can you delete my data? So it's a little difficult for you to go check, delete, and you have to confirm with a consent that hey, your data has been deleted. So those things will take time. I really don't know how quickly we can address all this problem. It will take time. I think people needs time. Within might be 1 year, 2 year. It's depend on the size. What kind of again, it's what kind of infra you are having. If you have huge legacy infra, I don't know. Might be Imran may have a huge legacy infra in L&T. So for them, or company like them who have a huge legacy, for them it will take huge time. It's not that easy for them. People who are in microservices, cloud born, they will get some kind of age of this to address this kind of problem. But legacy people, I'm sure they are having today. I think I was discussed one of my CISO friend, and he told me the same thing. Naseem, do you have any idea how we can do all this thing? I said, boss, I have no idea. Legacy system, you have to discuss with your consultant. You have to think about, there are people, especially there are PSU in insurance sector. The data they are having, quite big. And for them, even they didn't know that where are the data is having. If I give a consent that, Shipra, I have deleted your data from my XYZ DB, but I really don't know how much copy I have all this data. So that would be the biggest challenge for them, at least. A new age company, they don't have that much of data, that much of legacy infra. So they will, get some benefit out of it. So that will be one more thing we all this business leader in the same time, whenever, we are representative of security, but we have to support business. So we have to, look for an answer for all these questions. Then we can, take it forward. Else, I'm sure, all of like me, all of people are getting pushback from board, business heads, and all of them, that how we are going to address my, my business problem.
So since you mentioned, about business and board, I mean, this interesting question that I have, do you see any challenges when it comes to getting budgets approved for the IT security spend to meet these regulatory requirements?
I am lucky enough, I can say. I am lucky enough for my side, for my organization. It's not that challenge. It's, I really don't have that challenge. But the requirement is really stringent, right? There is a recent days the digitalization going like anything. Even I can say, if you are not digital, within few years your survival will be in stake, right? The experience you can give in a digital platform, you cannot give that experience to a to one person, right? You cannot. Somebody, we are the person who is serving you. He is also a human being, right? All the time, his temper, his mood of work, all this is not in same, right? If you offering something on a digital space, the acceptability, the customer experience will be different. So you have to be digitalization. At the same time, when you are digitalizing all your infra, all your service, your experience with the customer, it will in the same time you are basically opening the Pandora's box for cyber threat.
That's true. So
that's the balance is very, very, very challenging for all of us, I am sure.
So Imran, like Naseem mentioned, do you think both Jyotirlatha and Naseem are in a much better position than you, because you have the whole legacy infrastructure that you carry with you? And in that context also, how do you see the going to the board for the investments, getting the budgets? Is that a challenge that you face?
So as I said, we started our digital transformation in 2017. So legacy is almost 10-12% left. So that will scrap out. For security approvals and budget approvals, yes. So security is now hot topic in boardrooms. So they understand, board guys. They understand the security is required because of these breaches happening, and they got the news from here and there, and news from newspapers and all these. So they understand. When digitization is happening, we are moving to cloud, adopting new technologies. So budget approval, see, we have to justify the budget, right? So that is not a challenge for us also for getting approvals. Like other thing is like from the regulatory point of view, SEBI, we are regulated by SEBI and RBI. When the regulator says that you have to have a SIM or a SOC services or a DLP services, that is easily approved by the board. So board cannot deny those. So from the regulation angle, it is easily approved.
But anything other than the regulation angle, then
justify ROI and all this that comes in the benefit we are getting, how we are breached and all this. So
yeah, I think I can add a small story here. Just before a couple of weeks ago, we had a board meeting. And one of our board members told me, Naseem, after seeing all this Domino's case, I was scared to having a pizza. Mm-hmm. So that much, awareness or concern they already have. So it's better, it's giving age to us that your budget will be approved if you have the ROI or if you have the proper justification.
Yes.
So Jyotirlatha, what about at your end? Is that a challenge, especially? So on one hand, we see that of course the security awareness has increased, the need for tightening the security has increased over the last 1.5 years, and the board also realizes that. But at the same time, because of the economic reality that most of the businesses are going through, they want to justify the budgets. They want to ensure that they are prioritizing the budgets. What is the priority? Where it should go? Where it should not go? Where it can be avoided? So in that sense, are you seeing any challenges in terms of budgets?
No, as I say, I think Naseem and Imran also said the same thing. So awareness increase, that is really helping all the CISOs and all to push their the major projects and all. This is the only one area where without ROI you can get the budget approved, because it is very, very difficult to calculate the ROI for the security products. How can you calculate? How can I show what is ROI? Because I don't want that incident to happen only.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the only area which we are able to push without ROI. So I am lucky enough, I should say.
Right, it's like you are taking insurance. Till the time is something wrong is not happening to you,
You can't.
you will not feel the ROI.
Correct.
Right. Ved, now from a governance, risk and compliance perspective, how can CISOs actually build a robust governance, risk and compliance framework in the cloud? From this particular angle, if you look at cloud, what are your suggestions, or what are some of the best practices that you have seen that you would like to share?
So, Shipra, before that, I would just like to add to what the panelists just mentioned out, that absolutely right. Getting investments today has not become much of an impediment, I would say. And it has more, I have seen in the boardroom discussions, it is being considered the value at risk, and data being immensely valuable today. And the Domino's breach incident, which was cited, is imagine that if you put your mobile number, you get all the data related to where you reside, how much pizza you have ordered, how much you have spent, and all. So that creates definitely a kind of situation not to get into, and ensure that irrespective whether compliance mandates or not, we need to ensure that data is safe. And any data security initiative today is definitely gaining momentum in terms of the investment, in terms of as a thought process or a strategy to begin with. And now coming to the question related to the approach that today organizations are defining in terms of moving in this line, I'm seeing that the perimeter definitely is, the focus is definitely shifting, which was earlier more on having a perimeters-based security, network-based security, now to secure data, which becomes the key area. And then the adoption of data-centric security approach means the protection is applied on data itself, independent of the data's location. And to make it more effective, this should happen automatically. So whenever the sensitive information gets identified, as soon as it enters in your IT ecosystem, it should get secured with a policy-based protection that lasts throughout the data lifecycle. And this consistent measure should address a broad range of your security objectives. So it should enable to secure the data across all your environments, including your physical, virtual, cloud, and big data. And it should offer support for all the server platforms like Windows, Linux, Unix, on the on-premise, or if you're moving workload on cloud, it should definitely be compatible to all the more approaches that you're looking at in terms of bring your own encryption or bring your own key. And the same technology is able to give you centralized control to keep your distributed data safe. So organizations are looking in adopting this kind of, I would say, solution which meets all these perspectives to address the threats for the data residing on premise as well as the data residing on cloud. And this kind of I have seen that it addresses almost 95% of these concerns related to data breaches, because primarily if you see the data that gets goes outside, if it is in a kind of encrypted form, it becomes redundant and useless for anybody else who is getting the data in the, as an outcome of any kind of breach within the system. So that is a very important piece that organization have started putting in. And earlier, those misconceptions which was there in terms of adopting this piece of technology, which will hamper the business applications or the availability piece, I think now the technology has matured way forward, and we are seeing all large organizations really putting these mechanisms in place to meet the requirements on data.
So before I wrap up, Ved, if you can very quickly give an overview or glimpse of how this, the Cypher platform that you spoke about earlier, how does this tie into the whole governance, risk and compliance aspects? How can it help strengthen these three aspects for especially for a financial services organization?
So this ties up, see, any organization today needs to have both preventive control and proactive control. So it fits into this preventive control mechanism where it starts right from helping you to identify or discover your data across your data stores, classify it depending on whether it's public, confidential, restricted, whichever policy. It comes with all the compliance templates, whether you need to adhere to GDPR, you need to adhere to PCI DSS, you need to adhere to SEBI guidelines. Or you can customize your own templates respective to the data type that you consider sensitive. Once you do that, it helps you to come out with a risk score from this technology assessment. And then you are able to know this is the sensitive piece. I need to do a mechanism of protecting it. I can't go for encryption. I want to mask it. I just want to tokenize it. This is the mandate or the business preferences to take it forward. You can all do these processes from the same console from a click of a mouse. And the most important piece which is there is the life cycle of this key management. While you bring in encryption and do the encryption, the risk is passed on from data to encryption keys. How do you manage these encryption keys becomes the sole criteria and success for you. And this is where I think this helps you to take both the cloud risk areas and the on-premise risk areas. So this is the solution that helps to meet both the risk across the organization's growth and addresses on-premise and on cloud journey and any model. I mean, anything it cut across the technology. So Thales is known in this domain, and I would be more than happy to discuss it offline with the panelists if that meets any of the requirement concerns in evaluating this piece the way large organizations have adopted it.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ved. I think we really had a good, wholesome discussion around both the data security as well as privacy concerns in the cloud. So anything else that the panelists would like to add? Any particular area that we missed out on, or any comment, any point of view that you would like to mention before we wrap up? I think it is no longer a question of whether to go on cloud or not. It is now about which cloud, how to optimize it, and security I think is the number one factor. It is no longer a deterrent to move to cloud, but it is the number one factor that organizations have in terms of their challenges with respect to cloud, and they need to look at a more platform-based approach, as they have different multi-cloud environment and they have a hybrid cloud environment, to ensure that they don't end up in silos. A platform-based approach, which includes technologies like bring your own encryption, bring your own key, is going to play a key role. So with that, thank you so much for your time, and I hope you all have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Really very fruitful and great insight. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.